They said Corregidor was empty, just a rock left behind by war and overrun by time. But the air here, it doesn't move. Birds don't sing. Radios don't stay quiet. Leon swore he saw a soldier under the broken arch. No face, just a helmet, and the way he saluted. When Jesse vanished, his voice kept playing on the comms. Before he ever spoke, I left a dog tag behind. Last night, I found it on my kitchen counter. What if I never really came back? They dropped us in just past 0700. Huey rotors cutting across the mouth of Manila Bay, sun like brass on the water. From the air, Corregidor looked small, cracked, like an old wound no one stitched right. We were three, me, Jesse, and Leon. A short recon sweep and signal mapping for a Philippine agency I can't name. Something about old comms tunnels and topographic tagging. Truth is, I didn't ask many questions, just signed the non-disclosure, grabbed my kit, and followed orders. I needed the job. The moment my boots hit the ground, something felt off. It wasn't the silence. Islands get quiet. But this was heavy, like the place had its own gravity. No bird calls, no insect hum, just the wind, dragging something through the grass that wasn't there. We set up camp near the ruins of the old hospital. Jesse cracked jokes about tetanus and ghosts. Leon stayed quiet, scanning the tree line like it owed him something. I remember thinking, this'll be over in 48 hours. But I also remember the way the air smelled. Rust and wet stone, like an old bandage. I keyed in our first position log. Jesse pinged our first signal tower. Leon lit a smoke and said, "This place ain't dead, just hiding." I should have listened to him right then. As the camera pulls back over their camp, an old rusted artillery battery comes into view. The barrel turns slightly. Even though there's no power, we walked the perimeter after setup. First target was the collapsed hospital shell. What was left of it? You could still see fragments of the old concrete wards, shattered columns, bent rebar like ribs. The place had been flattened in 45. We knew that going in. But it didn't feel empty. Jesse was snapping photos and logging structure decay. He tapped one of the scorched beams and said, "You ever think ghosts remember the way they burned?" I told him to shut up. Leon crouched near a cracked foundation, pulled something from the dirt, half a dog tag, the rest corroded away. No name we could read. But Jesse handed it to me and said, "Look familiar?" It wasn't. Not yet. Inside, the temperature dropped fast. No sun reached through the concrete bones. Leon's breath started fogging. He held his rifle tighter but didn't say a word. I called out on open mic, just for formality. The echo that came back didn't match my words. Off by a second, off by something. We checked a broken stairwell, led down to the tunnel substructure, collapsed, sealed by landslide or blast. Jesse aimed his thermal. Nothing. No, worse than nothing. Static, like the device couldn't see heat at all. Just noise. The same noise we'd hear again later. That night, when we replayed the recording, there was a voice in the static, but none of us were talking. Leon reviews the thermal camera feed frame by frame. One image shows a silhouette standing upright in the collapsed stairwell. The next, it's gone. We reached the tunnel mouth just after dawn, moss clinging to the concrete like old blood. I remember Leon muttering, "Place smells like something's still rotting in there." Jesse laughed, but it was the kind that ends too quick. We clicked on headlamps and pushed forward. The deeper we went, the more unnatural it felt, like sound bent around the curves. My boots echoed wrong. One step forward, the tunnel echoed back 3. Jesse's thermal scanner buzzed, flashed white static, and shut off. "EMP? This deep," he whispered. I didn't answer. We kept moving. Around a corner, a side tunnel yawned open. That's where we found it. A ration pack, sealed, pristine. Canvas soft like it was packed last week. U.S. military markings, 1945. I turned it over. No mold, no age. What the hell? Jesse froze. Dude, check this. Wedged in a rusted doorframe was a dog tag. I wiped it clean. It had my last name. Not common, spelled exactly like mine. Same first initial. I laughed, a stupid, nervous laugh. But it came out dry. Behind us, footsteps, slow. 1, 2, 3. I spun. Nothing. Just black. But the tunnel wasn't echoing anymore. It was breathing. At first light, we made for the Malinta tunnel. Leon was quiet. Jesse cracked jokes to fill the air, but none of us laughed. The closer we got, the quieter the island felt, like the jungle was listening. The tunnel mouth was choked with vines and rusted scaffolding. I led point. Inside, the air changed, wet and heavy, like walking into someone's lungs. Our boots echoed too loudly. It wasn't normal reverb. I'd clap once and hear 2 returns, slightly delayed. 10 meters in, Jesse's thermal started glitching. Full static, flickering blue heat spots in places where there was nothing. He tapped the scope. Probably sun ghosts. He didn't believe it himself. We split torches. The farther we moved, the colder it got. Not chill, cold like a morgue. My breath fogged. On the right wall, something scraped deep into the concrete. Dates. Dozens of them, stretching back to 1944. All ending in slashes. Then we found it. A canvas bundle, half buried under dust. U.S. military markings. Opened it. Clean rations, M1 clips, field bandages in wax paper. Bone dry. Pristine. No mold, no rot. Jesse found a dog tag tucked into the seams. It had my last name, my exact spelling. But I never served with anyone related. I've checked. Leon pulled back, visibly shaken. "We need to go," he said, voice flat. But I couldn't move. It felt like the tunnel curved, subtly, like it wasn't a tunnel anymore but a loop, folding around us. A soft tapping echoed ahead. 3 slow knocks, then silence. We turned back, but something had changed. The path felt unfamiliar. The exit looked smaller, and I swore I saw movement. Just ahead, in the dark. A boot, just vanishing around a corner. They are not alone in the tunnel. Something is leading them in deeper, and it knows their names. We made it out, somehow. The tunnel spit us back out into the daylight, like it had changed its mind. No one spoke during the hike back to camp. By 1800, we had comms up again, barely. Jesse scanned channels, all static. Then one voice, brief, unintelligible, like a number station. We tried to trace it. Nothing. Leon took first watch that night. I couldn't sleep. Every creak outside the canvas made my skin twitch. I kept checking my sidearm even though I knew it wouldn't help if something came through. Around 200, I heard Jesse stir in his bag. Then silence. I sat up. His bedroll was still full. Then came the dragging, slow, just outside, like boots across gravel. I unzipped the flap. Nothing. But Leon. Leon was already standing, not alert, just upright, staring out past the perimeter, right at the tree line. I whispered his name. No reaction. I stepped closer. His breath was fogging, despite the tropical air. Then I saw his face, blank, mouth slightly open, eyes wide but not focused. I touched his shoulder. He blinked, jerked back, almost hit me. "What did you see?" He shook his head. There was someone, just standing, by the arch. "No one's there, Leon." "I know." He waved. I stared at him. He waved? Leon nodded slowly. He saluted. Someone, or something, is mimicking military behavior. And it knows the rituals, certainly. The next morning, I took a walk to clear my head. I didn't stray far, just down past the collapsed barracks and toward the old bunker site near the ridge. That's when I saw it. An MRE pack, fresh, still sealed, just lying there on a moss-covered stone. U.S. issue, printed with a date that made no sense. 1945. I crouched down, checked the packaging. Real, intact, impossible. A few feet away, a canvas roll leaned against the wall, faded olive drab. Looked like standard field kit. I unrolled it slowly, dust kicking up from the creases. Inside were personal items, photos, a folded map, a rusted sidearm, and a dog tag. I froze, because that tag had my last name on it. Same spelling, same middle initial. I checked it again and again. I don't have any known relatives who served here. Hell, I didn't even know Corregidor existed until last week. Back at camp, I didn't tell Jesse or Leon. Not yet. I just placed the tag in my chest pocket and zipped it up. That evening, the island went quiet. I mean truly silent. No insects, no birds, not even wind. It was like everything out there was listening. Something wants me to remember what I've never known. Or maybe I already do. That night, Jesse tried to recalibrate the SAT radio link. We were losing signal. Again. Everything just hissed with that low, angry static. He tapped the console, pulled cables, reconnected. I was half listening, watching Leon as he stood at the edge of the tree line with his back to us. The guy barely blinked anymore. Then Jesse froze. "You hear that?" I leaned in. Through the noise, barely audible, came a voice. It was Leon's, except Leon hadn't spoken in over an hour. Perimeter clear, archway secure, awaiting further. Jesse looked over his shoulder. Leon hadn't moved. I picked up the headset. The voice kept playing, repeating phrases. Not live, not like a radio feed. It was a recording, our own voices, looped, but we hadn't recorded anything. Jesse's voice came next, distorted and stretched. Times folding, seen him before, then mine. Check the tunnel again. Only, I hadn't said that. Not yet. The island isn't replaying history. It's recording us now. Before we even act. We pushed deeper into the collapsed sector of Malinta Tunnel the next morning. It should have been cleared, marked and mapped during post-war cleanup. But the dust felt untouched, like no one had walked there in decades. That's when Jesse spotted it. An olive canvas satchel propped neatly on a shelf carved into the stone. U.S. issue, World War II era. The serial was faded, but the stitching looked fresh. Too fresh. Inside, ration tins. Unopened, dry, preserved like they'd been packed yesterday. I looked around. Automatic. Scanned the walls, the floor, the airflow. Nothing made sense. Then I saw it. Wedged into a rusted frame of what must have been an emergency locker, a dog tag. I picked it up. My last name, my exact spelling. But the chain was snapped, the edges corroded. No way. Jesse laughed nervously. Maybe you had a granddad who served here? I didn't. No records, no stories, no connections. And yet, here it was, like it had waited. The island isn't just haunted. It's calling us by name. That night, Leon took the midnight watch. He was solid, Marine trained, alert even in his sleep. Said he liked the dark because it told the truth. I woke up just before 4 a.m. Something felt off. No footsteps, no snoring, just open air and a silence that pressed on the ribs. Leon wasn't at his post. His rifle was leaning against the crumbled wall. Boots lined up neatly, soles facing the jungle. Jesse whispered, he wouldn't just walk off. No drag marks, no blood, no broken twigs, just gone. We searched until dawn. Nothing but that damn fog, curling through the trees like it knew we were scared. When we got back to camp, Jesse played the last audio Leon logged. Faint static, then a soft click, then silence. A whisper, layered like it wasn't meant to be heard. He stepped off the path. One step in the wrong direction, and the island takes you. The heat inside the tunnel was wrong, too dry, like being baked in a sealed oven. I retraced our path through the lower shaft, where Jesse first heard those whispers. My boots echoed louder than I remembered, or maybe the tunnel was just emptier. I reached the area where we found the rations and the dog tag, still there, untouched. But this time, something else was waiting. My recorder, the one I thought I left at the landing zone, was sitting in the middle of the corridor, red light blinking, battery still full. I picked it up, pressed play. "You've been here before," my voice, followed by Jesse's laugh, then static, then, "Perimeter secure, Leon's out near the jungle." Those were our exact words from our second night, but I hadn't recorded anything. The playback continued, looping pieces of the mission, conversations we hadn't had yet, orders never given, Jesse whispering something in Japanese again, then laughing, then screaming. I dropped the recorder, and that's when the echo began again. But from behind me, the same sequence. My voice, his laugh, the scream. Only now, it wasn't coming from the device. It was coming from the tunnel walls. I aimed my flashlight down the shaft. There was someone standing there. No gear, just a silhouette, saluting. The tunnel speaks. The entity is replaying their final moments, or scripting the ones still to come. I ran, not far, just enough to breathe where the tunnel let in light. But the island was shifting. The air didn't feel real, like walking through memory. I radioed Jesse again. No answer, only a faint loop, greater than "perimeter secure. Leon's out near the jungle." I knew that line. We said it days ago, or maybe yesterday. I couldn't tell anymore. The barracks were just ahead, the ones near the old parade square. I pushed toward them. That's when I saw them. Leon's boots, side by side, facing the jungle tree line, still laced, still clean, like he'd stepped out of them. I scanned the ground. No tracks, no sign of a struggle, just his boots and silence. But when I knelt down to inspect them, I heard a soft sound behind me, a dragging footfall, slow, irregular. I turned, nothing, but the boots had moved, now pointing behind me. The island isn't erasing their presence, it's looping it. Piece by piece, time and identity are unraveling. I made for the communications case. If Jesse was alive, he'd try to reach me. Even if the radios were shot, he'd leave something, anything. When I opened the box, the handheld was still running, battery at 12%, and it was playing something. At first, just static, but underneath it, a voice, his voice. "You said don't split up. I know, but it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me talking." Then a pause, and breathing. "I'm near the tunnel mouth. There's someone outside. He's got my face. Don't let him speak. If he speaks, you'll forget who you are." Silence again. Then a final line, barely audible. He saluted me, and I saluted back. The recording ends. Timestamp, 6 a.m. Same time we were supposed to extract. Jesse's final words confirm it. "The thing on the island doesn't just haunt you. It replaces you." I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I kept one hand on my sidearm, the other on the comms, but no signals came through, just static. I walked the perimeter, flashlight low, hoping for a rustle, a print, a boot, anything of Jesse. Instead, I found a line of footprints, bare, sunken deep into the mud, circling the barracks, then trailing into the trees. But the strange part? Only one set, heading out. None coming back. The sun came up dull and gray, like it was filtered through old glass. I packed light and followed the prints. My feet knew the path even before my mind recognized it. I wasn't leading anymore. I was retracing. Every step already walked, by someone who looked like me. The jungle seemed quieter, not peaceful, just waiting. Like the whole island was holding its breath again. I passed by the collapsed archway, the same one Leon pointed to that first night. That's when I saw the figure again. Same outline, same faceless stare, same slow, deliberate salute. I didn't salute back this time. I followed. Something moved in the brush behind me. Not fast, but with weight. Like boots, old boots. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I found myself at the tunnel entrance again. I hadn't meant to return. My gear said I'd been walking east. The sun said otherwise. Inside, the air was colder than before. Not just temperature. Memory. It carried voices, familiar ones. Jesse laughing about rations. Leon muttering about movement on the ridge. And my own voice, clearer than it should have been, whispering orders I hadn't spoken yet. My flashlight flickered, then failed. But the tunnel lit up. Faint blue, like moonlight underwater. The walls shimmered with faint images. Soldiers marching in reverse, shadows dragging stretchers, medics patching wounds that closed before they opened. I stepped deeper, and the voices got louder. Not screaming, whispering, pleading, asking for something I didn't understand. A doorway appeared. It hadn't been there before. Canvas flaps, World War II era design. My hand trembled as I pulled it aside. Inside, a cot, a field desk, a mirror, and on the desk, my dog tag, but not the one I'd worn. This one was pitted, rusted, and burned. As I reached for it, I saw myself in the mirror. Not as I was, as I had been. 1945. The whisper came again, inches from my ear, but inside my head. Post not abandoned. You're still on duty. Then, silence. I woke up in my kitchen. No memory of transport, no exit, no flight manifest. Just the ticking of the wall clock and the hum of the fridge. My boots were still caked with tunnel dirt. My field recorder sat on the counter, still rolling. I hit rewind. Voices. Mine, Jesse's, Leon's. Then others, not us. The same mission, same words, but distorted. Like 1,000 echoes of the same patrol looped over decades. As if we'd been there before. As if others had worn our names, our faces. And then, a final transmission. My voice, but not mine. Patrol incomplete. Operator compromised. Echoes confirmed. Island still active. I froze. My nightstand drawer was open. Inside it, the dog tag. Warm. My hands shook. I walked to the living room, sat on the couch. On the wall above me, a photo. Black and white. World War II, U.S. Army. A squad standing at attention. Back row. A face like mine, saluting. Some wars end in silence. Others echo forever.